So welcome back to Zoom Tennis. This one is all about artificial intelligence, and we're going to be talking about what it is, how it helps retailers. I'm going to talk a little bit about, are we dead with AI? Do we still need humans? And Andre is going to come back in and talk about why this is important for SMEs, particularly at this moment in time. So Andre de Gaye, welcome to you and welcome to your first match of Zoom Tennis.
Thank you very much, Chris. How are you today?
I am really well, thank you very much. Yes, basking in the sunshine of centre court, as you can see.
Absolutely.
So Andre, quick questions back and forth over the net. I really want you to try to help us understand about artificial intelligence. We've got Cyber Monday, Black Friday, Christmas all coming up, and it's got to be really crucial for retailers now, particularly bearing in mind the tier 2, tier 3 kind of environment they're working in. First question to you, really. What is it about AI, and how can retailers stay one step ahead of the competition throughout the pandemic and beyond using AI?
That's a really good question. Obviously, competition is more fierce than ever at the moment. You know, physical retail sales are obviously down this year. So competition is more fierce than ever. Retailers do need to stay ahead of their competition. One way they can do that is leveraging AI technology. So personalization is really key. So delivering a great experience to your customers online. It's common sense, really. If you give customers a great experience on your website, they're going to keep coming back. They're going to keep buying from you further down the line. So one way to really engage with them better is to use personalization techniques. So delivering content and products that are relevant to that customer. They can find the products they want very quickly. They can get a personalized experience in terms of the kind of content and the campaigns that they're seeing on the website, and they're going to feel loved. They're going to want to purchase, and they're going to want to keep coming back to purchase. But personalization, trying to do that manually is very, very difficult. Looking for patterns, patterns in data as a human is very, very difficult. It's very time consuming. People just don't have time. They're busier than ever trying to run e-commerce websites. So that's where the AI technology comes in. It looks at the customer data, looks at patterns in those data, and basically segments your customers automatically. And from there, you can really give a tailored, personalized experience to each of your customers. And that's, if you're giving a better experience than your competitors for your customers, they're going to buy from you and not your competitors. So it's absolutely crucial to leverage AI personalization technology to stay ahead of the competition, particularly now as more sales are moving online from traditional retail stores.
Okay, so just in terms of the practicalities of that, so when I'm on a site like Amazon, is this when it sort of begins to tell me the recommendations or other things that I could have? Is that just not something that is for an enterprise solution, or can you make this happen now for really small retailers as well?
Yeah, it certainly used to be enterprise only, and actually Amazon were the pioneers of that, recommendations and tracking what you're interested in and personalizing the products that you're seeing. But now certainly not for enterprise. SMEs can easily get access to this kind of technology now. It's far more cost effective and it is available, to the SME market. And I think, in terms of the research that we've done, in the SME market, they are understanding this technology a bit more. They're looking at their competitors who might be using this technology in the SME market. So really, they're starting to realize, actually, we need to get a piece of this pie. We need to get using this technology because our customers are actually expecting a tailored experience. And that's the crucial thing. They're going on all kinds of different e-commerce websites. On one website, they might be getting a great personalized experience so that when they land on your website, they actually have the same expectations. So it's absolutely crucial that SMEs do start to leverage this technology to really, engage more with their customers and obviously increase their sales online.
Okay. And I guess is it helping the customer journey become more personal to the user so that actually you've almost got that face-to-face retail experience, but the online process is holding your hand as you go through that journey?
Yeah, absolutely. It's really about context. That's what this technology is all about. It's not just about understanding who the customer is. It's understanding the context of why they are there at that time. So it's who the customer is. Yes, of course, we all want to understand that, but at what point in the journey are they? So Who are they? Yeah, okay, they're, you know, a returning visitor to my site, but have they bought from me before? What value of purchases have they bought before? What brands have they bought before? What did they leave in their basket last time they were on my website? So all of these context-based things that the AI can track and learn and adapt, you know, adapt the experience you're having. So, you know, you come back to the site, welcome back to the website. Here's what you left in your basket. Welcome back to the website. Here are the products you looked at last time. You know, so it's understanding where they are in the journey. Because we are expecting that now as consumers. We're expecting that intelligence there to be in place on e-commerce stores. So, so the AI is really there to help. And I think AI is a term that, you know, still people are a bit fearful of. You know, I think we've got Hollywood to blame for that, to be honest with you. You know, AI is always, you know, portrayed as evil in films, but really that in reality, that's not the purpose of it, obviously. It's there to help. It's there to deliver a better experience, and it's there to save time, crucially, as well, because doing this manually does take time. But an interesting question, I mean, back to you, Chris, is that, you know, AI technology is obviously where everything is moving towards. Do you think, you know, in the future, AI is going to replace sales reps, humans? Is it going that way in terms of the sales process, do you think?
Well, thanks. Well, I'm thinking, I'm looking at my own chair, wondering whether I should be here. Okay, I'll bring this back to basics, I guess, Andre. And there's a really simple methodology around the customer pull, which is the AIDA principle. And it goes back actually to the, I think, the 1800s. And it starts with awareness, and then interests, and then desire and action. And along that journey, you have to bring the buyer or the prospect or even the unaware person through this pipeline. So thinking about your question, I guess the AI is going to be brilliant at the top two parts of that triangle, the awareness and the interest factor of sparking my eye towards something that I hadn't even realized I should be aware of. And now it's telling me that this exists. Would I like to have some interest in it? But then, particularly for big ticket items, I think the emotional aspect is coming into this to create the desire and then actually create action and decide to do something about it. And the whole part of that triangle now is that it's really important to focus on retention, referral, and repeat. And that's where the human factor can get into this to say, it's fantastic that you bought this last time, Andre. We're now going to try to do something else with you to bring you more. Or how can you bring extra customers to us from that single site purchase or that single transaction? And then how can we try to retain you? And that's where I think the human cognitive process is going to come in line with the AI. It might still be an AI-driven solution, but it's the human aspect that's going to help create that momentum, that continual referral purchase, and that repeat transaction time and time again. So for anybody watching, I don't think we're all going to be out of a job. We will still need SDRs and sales representatives and account managers, but I think that the two will have to be intertwined. Does that help you answer the question, Andre?
It does, absolutely. And, you know, I'm all about emotion as part of the sales process. And that's something that obviously machines are very bad at. You know, we need humans for that. And emotion is such a huge part of the sales process, I believe, that, you know, machines cannot completely replace that process. You know, like you say, I think a combination of the two is where things are going to sit. Because, yeah, the AI can really help with the top level, like you say, but I think, you know, it does depend on the product as well, obviously. Certain products you need much more of a human element as part of the sales process, I think. But, you know, consumables, you know, I was having a conversation the other day about voice selling, you know, via Alexa. That's all very well and good for consumables. Alexa, order me, you know, 100 Yorkshire tea bags, please. Something that you can easily replace. For fashion, it's very, very difficult. You know, it's far more emotive. It's far more aesthetic. You know, so it's very, very difficult to kind of sell those just via a machine or buy those via a machine. So yeah, it does depend on the product, but I do agree with you. I think a combination of both is probably where things will sit in the future. So no salespeople out of a job just yet.
Well, there's a relief. Not quite got rid of me just yet. Just thinking about the small business marketplace, I work in that space, and I know you do a lot, Andre. What are the challenges right now that you can see for UK or even global SMEs, and how can we overcome that, and how can AI bridge that gap for them?
Yeah, I think at the moment, the biggest challenge is obviously people don't have time. You know, people are stretched budget wise, and people are also stretched time wise at the moment. So they've got this kind of double-edged sword of, you know, they maybe have increased orders, which is fantastic because more sales are moving online, but actually, you know, budgets might be a bit tight. They might have had to let people go, unfortunately. So they really don't have time to kind of be sort of, you know, looking at personalization, for example, manually. So the tech is there to really save time, and AI can certainly help save time for these e-commerce businesses that are maybe understaffed, maybe coping with a huge volume of orders, especially around Black Friday, Cyber Monday, and obviously Christmas. You know, this is an incredibly busy time for all e-commerce retailers. So so the AI can really help save time. You know, let you know, an AI solution like PureClarity take over your cross sells and upsells. You don't have to merchandise manually. Let you know, a solution dynamically populate your cross sells and upsells. It will automatically personalize for your customers and take that pain away of trying to segment, look for patterns, set up campaigns. Let the technology do the work, and you know, you will see the results from doing that, and you can focus your time on things that do need a human, you know, fulfilling your orders, etc. So yeah, the tech is there to help. It's there to help you save time and ultimately make you more money in the long run.
Yeah, you used a lot of words there, segment and things, that's beginning to well, befuddle me a little bit. And if you're an e-commerce retailer that's just starting out, but you've got this brilliant opportunity to crank your revenue, can you literally then, with your product, can you just plug it in and it starts to do the work?
Absolutely, you can. Yeah, you can. So if you plug it in, PureClarity will immediately take over your cross sells and upsells. So on your product page, you know, people who bought this also bought, those kind of zones that we're all familiar with on e-commerce sites. PureClarity essentially takes over those zones, and it dynamically populates those zones. So it's constantly changing based on who that customer is, what they're doing on the website, what they're clicking on, what they're searching for, what they're adding to their basket. It will dynamically adapt in real time. So you don't have to bother with, you know, relating products in your e-commerce CMS. You know, here's a main product. I want to choose these 6 products to go together as cross sells to that main product. You don't have to do that. PureClarity will automatically take over that process. You can get more involved, so you can set up content campaigns. That does require some setup within the PureClarity backend, but you don't have to. You can just plug it in and start seeing results straight away and start personalizing your products straight away for your customers.
Okay. So when I'm visiting retailer site and they don't recognize me as an individual, or I'm getting an email that isn't personal to me, or I'm receiving offers that literally have no references in my sort of psychological process, actually, is it reflecting poorly then on the retailer to be doing that kind of work based on the fact that this technology is now ever present?
I believe so. I believe so. And as I mentioned before, you know, customer expectation is higher than ever. We expect to have personalization in all touch points. You know, so it's not just when we visit the website, like you touched on there, it's email as well. They should be personalized. You should have products embedded within your emails getting sent out from your website that are relevant to that particular customer. Because if you're not doing it, your competition certainly will be, and they'll be getting great results from doing that.
Okay. Well, you know, we're in a bit of a sticky wicket at the minute, and I think it would be great to see you helping as many retailers as possible really realize the opportunity with Black Friday, Cyber Monday, and then Christmas. It's been a tough year, and you know, fair play. Good for you that we can get out there and try to enable as many people as possible in the UK to personalize their purchases, but more importantly, keep the retailers in business when the high street is suffering so much. But it's not just a big business. This is still high street retailers, small businesses, local community retailers that can still have a presence online. Is that where we're coming from?
Yeah, absolutely. And look, it is affordable now. You know, it used to be this kind of technology, as we mentioned before, was enterprise level, very expensive, 4 figures plus a month. It certainly isn't that anymore. You know, this technology is affordable. And the great thing about that is, you know, it will quickly deliver a return on investment for you as well. You know, you will quickly see those sales start to return, and then it becomes a no-brainer, you know, and it becomes weaved into your website, and you think, how did I ever do without this technology? You know, it's working so well for me. We're increasing our customer engagement and our revenue. So it's an absolute no-brainer, and something that all SMEs should be looking at the moment, for sure.
Good. Well, it's been a very convivial, light-hearted match of tennis here today, Andre. I think the most important thing for people is to understand that the technology exists, and I'm just going to share my screen again because I think it would be really good for people to be able to grab your contact details and make sure that they can find you, which is my my wonderful technology is preventing me from sharing my screen. There we go. So this is where we can find Andre, is it? Up here.
Indeed.
Your email. And if they are interested, what's the next step in terms of thinking how this technology could be embedded into their own retail? Is it, what kind of platforms do you work with?
All the major e-commerce. I mean, we're platform agnostic, but we have plugins for all the major e-commerce platforms: Magento, Shopify, BigCommerce, as you'd expect, WooCommerce as well. So, but even if it's not one of those platforms, we can still do an integration, and it's a very light touch integration as well. So, so yeah, the next steps would be, if there's an interest there, please get in touch with me. We can do an audit for you as well for your website, show you where PureClarity can really add value. That's not a problem doing that. So yeah, lots of different options. Please get in touch. Happy to discuss.
Great. Andre, thank you so much for your time. For anybody else watching, there are more of these types of videos that you can see over there or over there. Andre, thank you so much, and we'll catch you again soon.
Thank you, Chris. Take care. Thank you.